Previously on Don't Starve. Wilson gathered the things around the archipelago and then arrived on an island of eternal night. I felt that I was getting close. As this was a place of eternal darkness. I also knew that I should not linger around where the fires are. Thankfully, I can make a miner hat. Something that can light the way in the dark. Although it would also help if I had flint and stones. Along with sticks. Oh yes, and then I remembered something important. Something that would be necessary for increased survival in this dark land. And that is, I needed to make the miner hats in order to move on from here. And thankfully, I now have tools to cut through and dig away what I need to make progress. Yes, I needed to remember that soon, because there was only so much wood nearby, and I couldn't just make campfires to traverse this island. It would take too long. with the miner hat, it would give me enough light to traverse this dark island, as long as I kept it fueled with fireflies. To do that, I would need to make another net, and to make another net, I would need spider webs. Don't ask how that was possible. And thankfully, among one of the one of the few who managed to get this far, I had a spare pickaxe. I decided to use the traps to lure the spiders into them and take care of them in relative safety. At least now I could make a spare nets. In fact, more than one. I decided to make sure that I had a number of webs. Fall off the nest after killing the spiders. At least now I could catch as many fireflies as I needed to keep the miner's hat fueled. A ring of boulders with gold in them. This would be a dream of a leprechaun, wouldn't it? Or at least any that are so greedy. It's difficult to describe accurately. But I was able to make a hole in the ring. Well, as much of a ring as possible. With the available land that is part of this bridge. I decided to top up the miner's hat while I continued to search for the things that I would need. Wherever they were not on the island that I started here on. I knew that it was on this island that one of them would be. Considering that this device was getting awfully close. And a spare axe would not go amiss. I didn't know what Maxwell sought to accomplish. But I found one of the things around a ring of ashes. Well, they are now. I didn't know what he sought to accomplish with this island where night is the only thing it can be. Perhaps this was a last stand. Last line of defense. Seeking to utilize darkness. Although one thing was certain, I needed to rest. And I also needed to refill the miner's hat. Before moving on. Hoping that the food would last long enough to reach Maxwell himself. I didn't know what these torches were, why they were shining. Well, burning in the dark, but I found what would summon Chester. And I knew that was indeed a good thing, as it would mean more storage. I also like Chester. this ring of blue mushrooms. It was strange, although I could certainly see about cooking these to provide an additional food reserve. I sensed that they would help with other things as well. I just didn't know exactly how. Although not raw, they were better cooked. And cook them I would. Yes, it seemed to harm the body slightly, but it healed the mind. I didn't know why. Although, one thing I did know is this cooked blue mushroom was indeed useful. It would mean that I didn't have to sleep to keep my mind from staying together. Then I found the next thing, the box. Along with finding a spear. I decided to put the things in Chester until they were needed. Boulders. They were but a temporary setback. They would not stop me from finding what I needed. And then finding a way out of here. I was nearing the next thing, and it turned out to be the crank. All I needed now was the metal potato. And I needed to find that before finding the exits. The only problem is, I need to go in the right direction of where the last thing was. Even though it was a good thing to have spare webbing for making nets, I considered it unwise to attract unwanted attention, especially as tentacles were in the south. I suspected that is where I needed to go. Navigation was harder in the dark, but not impossible. Especially considering that I stumbled upon a farm. Yes, the metal potato was mine. I decided to pick up the carrots. I then realized that it was raining here. It had been a while since rain had been experienced. I knew that I had to make an umbrella to counter this. Well, I certainly wouldn't be needing the device that located the things. I suspected that there was only one place that the exit could be. All the way to the west. But even so, I still had the sense to keep the miners' hats well fueled, to make sure that I knew where I was going, and ward off the dangers in the dark. I had found the swamp. I had found the exit within the swamp. Although I thought it would be a good idea to explore this swamp, in case I found anything of note here. Besides the exit. After I'd do a little exploring, I thought at the time, then I would fight the mechanicals guarding the exit. Although I found a tent and a crockpot. I would use both before this was over. Certainly the crockpot, as I needed to make some food before, well, doing anything else. Because what would sustain me for the remaining battles would be whatever I had. And in this case, it was mushrooms, along with some monster meat. All less food and tent would be useful, as I would need to replenish my strength before clearing away the remaining mechanicals that are blocking my path. It turned out that I had already slain those that mattered. So I placed the things where they were needed, and then all that was needed was to prepare for, well, at least to put into the messel potato the items that I thought that I would need where I was going. Well, can't be too careful. I woke in another dark place, but this one looks even more ominous with the rows of torches. The light of Maxwell, in fact. It turned out that, well, I had my suspicions that this was where Maxwell was hiding. having exhausted all of his defenses and deterrents to stop me from getting to him. Deterrents that ultimately failed. And along the path there were side paths that led to items which I was unlikely to need here, considering that there was nothing here so far but me. But I thought I'd do it out of habit. The science machine and the alchemy machine both were familiar to me, but that other item was not. It involved that strange purple gem that fell out of the mechanicals. And as for the crockpots, there was plenty of meat and mushrooms to cook. So I decided to do just that. Before moving on. Ahead of me was a shocking sight. It was Maxwell, and he was a prisoner here. I decided to hear him out. It appears that he was trapped here for some time and needed someone like me to free him from his suffering. and so compassion was exploited as weakness. Now, is this the end? Of course it isn't. Although, that can wait until the next series. Until next time. Hail the rabbit!